Hi, Salam Alaikum. Sulaiman Rahim here, Messenger of the Covenant, breaker of the seven seals. Let's include our audio audience. 1 second. This is the Black Alert segment of the Fire Zone. Welcome. Brothers and sisters, the Holocaust. The Holocaust. Let me make one slight adjustment here. The Holocaust. Where's the Holocaust? That's the 400 years of horror that we went through. They want to call it slavery, which is a whitewash. Look up the definition of slavery. It doesn't include rape, murder, torture. It doesn't include those things. See? So they whitewash it because slavery is an economic system. It means you work someone and you don't pay them. See? Maximum profit, zero overhead. See? That's capitalism at its best. Because capitalism is at its best when you maximize your profit and minimize your overhead. And slavery is the maximum profit and minimum overhead. But so slavery was just the economic side of it. But the Holocaust is the actual physical side of it. See some of the pictures here. See? That's not the picture of slavery. That's a picture of Holocaust. 40 years of it. Critical race theory. It wasn't no theory. It wasn't no theory. It's not a theory. They're trying to whitewash it. They're trying to escape what they did. Don't tell our children this. Don't teach our children in school. Why? That's your history. You want us to honor your history. You want us to honor Jefferson and Washington. They was rapists and pedophiles. You want to clean up. Well, you want to clean up your shit. Go try to clean up your shit someplace else. Because you can't clean shit. So now you want to gold plate your shit? Then it's full of shit. See, they want to gold plate the shit. Oh, let's put some gold around it. Still shit. See? And that's how America started. That's how it began when Columbus set foot on this hemisphere. And been shit ever since. They go forth to rape. Let me back up. They go forth to kill, steal, and destroy. They stole his land. They killed off his inhabitants, and they brought us over here and destroyed us as a nation. So you want to walk around talking about, oh, I'm trying to figure out who 666 is, and I'm trying to figure out who the devil is, and I'm trying to figure out who Jerusalem is. Well, you keep on trying to figure it out. And when you get your fans pulling your head out your ass, right? See, then maybe, right, you have enough ass left to survive. Because you're fooling yourself. You're playing with yourself. You might as well be masturbating. I'm trying to figure out who 666 is. That's not complicated. What was the power of 666? It would be three of them. And one had the power to stop you from buying or selling. You call it the Antichrist. You had to buy or stop from buying or selling unless you worship the other one. That was the image of the other one. You would either stop him buying or selling, it would kill you. Now, who in the world on the planet is doing that? That's America. America's the only nation on the planet sanctioning people. That's sanctions. You can't buy or sell nothing. And especially if you go against false Israel, they either sanction you or kill you. That's exactly what it says in chapter. So I'm trying to figure out who's 666. Well, he's the Antichrist. I'm seeing if you put a marker on and all this, and that's the image of the. It's going to be a pure image, and he's going to walk around. You have a card that's going to have 666 on it, and they're going to. That's bullshit. You keep on with that crap. It's very simple. America's the only country that's doing that. Period. That's the beast with 666. You don't have to worry about what 666 is, because if you worship that, it says if you worship that beast, right? See, it didn't say you had to act. If you had, you think it's a physical mark, but it said if you worship the beast, right? You was just here for destruction. All that worship that beast. See, everybody, they run to America. They love America and everything else. Well, you keep on. See, that's clear. So 666, that's clear. There's nothing confusing about that. Then about Jerusalem. What's confusing about that? What Scripture says. When you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, you know its destruction, Jerusalem's destruction is near. Jerusalem's destruction is near. So Jerusalem is the capital of what? Jerusalem is the capital of what? Right? Who controls Jerusalem? The Arabs? The Sunni? The Shia? Santa Claus? No. Fake Israel controls it. That's their capital. It says they're going to be destroyed. That's right in the script. How much clearer can that be? No, man, I'm trying to figure out, man, Jesus going to come and save them at the last minute and all this BS, right? And, okay, you keep your head up your ass. That's up to you. See? Because there's so much confusion. There's no confusion about that. Because look at the Talmud. Go and Google it. Look at the Talmud. And what did Jews say about Jesus? They say he's in hell, boiling his own shit and piss. That's what they say. Is Google it. Don't take my word for it. These are Jews saying that about your Jesus that you love so much, and you love them. So why in the hell are you going to love these people that think that much about your God? See? Where the people that you hate, the so-called terrorist Muslims, right? They love Jesus. Honor him. Respect him. But the ones that you love, they say your Jesus is in hell, boiling his shit and piss. That's what they teach, all of them. Now square that circle. See, all y'all full of shit out there. This is no bullshit zone here. See? All y'all full of shit out here. You know, we can go on with this one. See? Then Gog and Magog. Then you're going to tell us, oh, well, chapter 20, that's the future, that's millennia. Is it? See, all this stuff is perfectly clear. That's European history. That's European history, chapter 20. But the reason why that's it, go out and see the whole world to see about chapter 20, because that would make it clear who they are. But it doesn't really make any difference, even if it make it clear. You still got your head so far up their ass that you don't know the difference anyway. See? Because there'll be a resurrection. See? That resurrection problem, he resurrected Abraham's Islamic empire. Because Abraham was not a Jew nor a Christian. He walked with God. He's the one that built the Kaaba. He's the one that started the pilgrimage. He's the one that built Mecca. But they won't tell you that because they don't want you to know that Abraham's associated with Islam. See, that was his religion because he wasn't a Jew. He wasn't a Christian. I mean, how could he have been? He was before them. See? So they don't want you to know that. They don't want you to connect with that. That's history. Everybody, I mean, all you got to do is do a few checks. He said, Abraham's the one that built that stuff over there. Prophet Muhammad didn't start Islam. He didn't build Mecca. He didn't start the pilgrimage. All that stuff was already in place. The Kaaba, all that was in place when he came on the scene. All he did was clean it up because they had took and fell back. They fell back into idolatry. So he just resurrected. That's what it said. The resurrection took place. And what's the result of that resurrection? It pushed another people into the bottomless pit for 1,000 years. That's European history. Because when the rise of the Islamic Empire under Prophet Muhammad, that forced the Europeans into the Dark Ages. You heard about the Crusades? They were trying to fight their way out for 1,000 years. They had locked up for 1,000 years. Then you know who Satan and the devil and all them is, because those are the ones that got locked up. This ain't rocket science. But hey, okay, don't take my word for it. See? So it was locked up for 1,000. So after 1,000 years come, so they would go out and cover the whole planet. Now see, you telling me that Gog is Russia. Oh, Gog is Russia. That's bullshit. See? Gog is Russia. That's another way they play with themselves. They're masturbating over there. See? They're playing with themselves. See? Because if that's true what you say, and you're saying that they tell well, God's going to be destroyed when they attack Israel, they're going to be destroyed in this war, right? Which is supposed to happen anytime before the so-called millennia, right? Right? So if they destroyed, how in the hell are they coming out of the pit 1,000 years later? If they was destroyed before that even happened. So how they see they shouldn't be around in millennia. If they were destroyed when they went against false Israel, what you call Israel, which ain't real. See? That shows a lie right there. And so, how many world empires have there been that you know about? World empires, not hemisphere, right? Not European or continental empires. I'm saying world, global empires. You heard that sun does not set on the British Empire, and America now has empire all over the world. There's only been two. That's Gog and Magog. That's who Gog and Magog is. That's a two-horned ram in Daniel that gets attacked by the goat, right? That's China and India, and they're angry at the ram. They kill it. That's happened. That's gonna happen soon. America will be invaded and taken down. See, those are very simple. But oh man, you see, you're picking peanuts out of shit, trying to say, man, is this peanut okay, man? Hey, if it's in shit, it's shit. See? Or trying to say, man, what shit is better than other shit? Let's figure out. See? It's still all shit. That's the beauty of learning the angel and learning how things work in the 5 fundamental principles. Because you don't look into that all that BSD. You just know shit. You just know leave it alone. You don't be trying to figure out, man, well, I'm gonna this shit. Because you think you don't do that? You think you don't do that? Do you eat shitlins? Do you eat shitlins? Then that's what you was doing. You separate shit from shit because you know that when you was washing it, shit was floating on the top, on the thing, and you knew you could smell it. But you're gonna wake up, brothers and sisters, because they transform you into Negro butts. Took 64 years to do it. You went in Kunta Kinte came out Toby. Took 64 years to do it from 1555 to 1619. Took 64 years to transform you into a Negro butt. Non-thinking, self-destructive, see? Totally obedient to master, ask no questions. See? Because if you start asking questions, your program is, start stalling. See? Then have to send a terror butt in, right? Which is demons, that's the slave master's children that look like you, maybe walk like you, maybe talk, but they ain't you. They're skin folk. But they really devils. There's camouflage. And they send them in to check your programming. See if you need to be reprogrammed or you need to be rebooted. Because if they can't get you back online, right, they disactivate you. Well, you have no idea what's going on here. See? So as a consequence of their rape and everything else, it says half of the black people in America are demons. They're master children. They think like master. See? They act like master and everything else. They can pretend to act like you, but they master children. They hate you as much as, in fact, they hate you more than master because they think the reason why master is not recognizing them because of you. You're going to get on board with this in a minute because Master Muhammad, your God, is getting ready to short circuit your programming. And then you're going to wake up with a bigger headache because you're going to realize nothing these people ever told you was the truth about Jesus, about God, about anything. It's all been one big, gigantic lie. So we're going to talk about this Holocaust. See, they try to whitewash it. slavery. No, that was just the economics part of it. That didn't include the rape, the murder, sodomy, and all the stuff they was doing. See? Because it's probably named a Holocaust because that's what it was. 40 years of horror. 40 years of abject horror. From sun up to sundown, horror. It's a big horror show, if you want to use that word. But what I want to talk about here is, I want to talk about the apocalypse. See, I said, I'm going to make this stay clear and clear as we move in. See, as we get closer, closer, closer. Now I want you to look at this for a minute. Now, who's going to survive the war of Armageddon apocalypse? You see right here? Let me make an adjustment here so you can see this clearly. Oops. See right here? Now, there's two translations here. They both translate the same thing, but one uses one word differently than the other one. But immediately after the oppression of those days, the sun will become darkened, the moon will not give its light, the stars will fall from the sky, and powers of heaven will be shaken. And the King James Version, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be dark, and the moon shall not give its light, and stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. So it's almost identical except that one word. That's important. See, because if you look up the word tribulation, it also could be called oppression. So why would most translations say tribulation? Where oppression is more accurate once you understand the angel. See, because if you look at those things, look at the sixth seal, those are the things that say what happened in the sixth seal. So that'd be some tribulation that occurred just before the sixth seal. See, and when you understand that, sixth seal really kicks off the war. Armageddon. Armageddon is kicked off by a sixth seal. See? So that means there's some tribulation that occurred before that. See? So what is that talking about? See? Now you know Armageddon. See, Armageddon is the European war. See? But we have something called apocalypse. See, because the book of Revelation also called apocalypse. See? Because it's comprehensive. See, if you read it in there, I believe it's chapter 19, right? I believe it's chapter 19, where they said they gathered them together in Armageddon, right, for this war against God and whatever. So the point is, what it's telling you is that tribulation is just part of the apocalypse. Excuse me. The one Armageddon is only a phase of the apocalypse. Because the apocalypse, that's why I call it Revelation apocalypse, because almost everything in Revelations, or the AL-INJIL, which is the Arabic name for it, concerns the apocalypse. That's why they call it apocalypse. And it's initiated by this war when war breaks out in heaven in chapter 12, and Michael's angels go to war with the dragons and angels. That kicks off Armageddon. See, that kicks off, that triggers Armageddon, that war. But you need to understand what that war is. So we see Armageddon is only a phase of the apocalypse. This big apocalypse that will take place. See, which is initiated by this war in the Middle East, because it says, the powers of heaven will be shaken. Now, how would people know the powers of heaven be shaken and the powers of heaven? Because it said men's hearts will be filled for fear of those things coming upon the earth, right? Because the powers of heaven will be shaken. Now, how in the hell would they know that the powers of heaven be shaken if the power of heaven is beyond the sun, moon, and stars, or it's in some other dimension, right? Or some other universe or whatever? They wouldn't know. So how could their hearts be filled by something they're not even aware of? Because the earth represents European countries, heaven represents the Middle East. So they say hell is coming now. Because the powers of heaven. So who's in the power in the heavens? See, that's why I said powers of heaven be shaking there. Same thing they say right in the sixth seal. So who is in power in the Middle East? Again, Gog and Magog, America, Britain, and false Israel. They're the power brokers there now. But it says their power be broken, be shaken. And then when that happens, people on the earth in European countries, especially America, their hearts can be failing for fear because now they know that happened. There's a great truth that's been revealed. And they know hell is coming their way. And it's coming fast and furious, right? And it's coming hot. It's coming in hot. See? Because immediately they go to war in Russia. Right after that war in the Middle East, they get kicked out of there and immediately go to war in Europe, right? And then they get betrayed, and the Europeans that they thought was their allies is going to side with Russia, and America going to be in a trap. America will be in a trap. They're going to be trapped. See, a trap has been set for them anyway. They don't understand it. See, the Russians are prepared a trap for them, but you don't understand it. See, I should probably be talking about it, right? Maybe I should just shut up right here. But they're going to be in a trap. See, because they think their allies, they go over there, and their allies are going to turn against them. I'm not going to explain be elaborate about it. I'm just saying a couple of things, right? Some things that's right on the surface that they're starting to be aware of right now. See, that's why they're trying to change events. Because when that war breaks out in the Middle East, and Michael's angels prevail, his angels are the Shia, right? If they prevail, which they will, as Scripture says, right? That means they now have control over the total Middle East, total control. Because dragon represents the house of Assad. So now they all got bent their ass kicked. So now the Shia has total control. That's Michael's angels. Total control. But who is Western Europe? You have Eastern Europe and West. Those are two legs in the book of Daniel, two iron legs. There's so-called remnants of so-called Roman Empire. Eastern Europe and Western Europe. Russia is the central part of Eastern Europe, and Germany is the central part of Western Europe, which include France and Portugal, so forth, right? And that's so-called NATO countries too. But they're totally dependent upon oil in the Middle East and Russia. They totally depend on those two sources. But now the America and Britain is kicked out because they was assisting them in that war, right? So now the Shia cuts their oil supply off. So now they totally depend on Russia. But then as soon as this war is over, right, America's going to blame Russia for their defeat because they had to blame somebody. But they know it was more to that because, you know, this thing called UFOs around here. Oh, we know of UFOs, man. We better turn this off. Okay, whatever. The government's admitting that they're there. Government admitting that they exist. But they tell, well, they're from Mars or Venus or the ninth galaxy past Neptune on the other side of Andromeda. And they've been here 40-something years just looking around. I don't know what they're doing down there, just looking around. You believe that? They traveled billions of miles to get here, just sitting around 40 years looking around. See, every occasion they go and rape away some girl. Oh boy, bro, this is just, you know, I mean, you know, I'm 73 years old, but I gotta be careful because you people give me a heart attack with this bullshit. You about to give me a heart attack with this bullshit. Oh, and you Negro bus, you eating it because that's part of your programming. See, because when you eat shit, in your mind it's supposed to be honey. So you know you eating it all up, and they feed it to you, right? In gross pounds, and you eat it up, man. Oh, this sure tastes good, man. And you eating shit. That's part of your programming. See, because they give you shit to eat, and you produce gold for them. You transform shit to gold, and they transform gold to shit. They feed you the shit. That's the symbiotic relationship that's going on with you. That's why they want to keep you here. See, because they produce shit. You see what they did to Europe? Why do you think they fled Europe? They was in there for 1,000 years and it turned into a shithole. I could tell you story. Turn shit was disease, death, tyranny, poverty, starvation, everything going up there, rape, whatever. So if they're the wise and best people on the planet, how come they didn't turn into a paradise? How did they turn into a shining city? No, because they came out, they had nothing, and they went to try to take from everybody else. It took from Africa, took from everybody. It took this land, took people. It took people from Africa. They took this land from the natives right here, right? And they wiped them all out. They went over, took knowledge from China. They ripped everybody off. Because the predators, all European countries, empires have been predators, because they don't produce anything. They're parasites. They turned gold into shit. And they found that we could turn shit into gold. So that was a perfect relationship. They bring us over here, they feed us shit, and we turn it back to gold for them. We make mansions for them and all kind of nice boats and all that kind of stuff. And what we had the shit. They was literally feeding you shit. What do you think shitlings is? That's what they call it, shitlings. They just changed this S to C, and you're a Negro butt, so you can't recognize that changing the S to a C doesn't change the nature of the damn thing. It's still shit. So what's happening here? See, the oppression, the reason why tribulation, because that's part of whitewash, it's called slavery, trying to confuse the issue. Because oppression, that tribulation they're talking about right there, is immediately after tribulation of those days. That means after oppression, that means our oppression ended in 2019. Because it said that Abraham covenant would go from 1619 to 2019. There'd be 40 years of Holocaust, oppression. And then immediately after that, right? They don't mean the next second, but they mean immediately, real close, right? Because actually, when you understand it, right, it was immediate. Because 2020, how did 2020 come in? How did 2020 come in? It came with a plague that was killing the firstborn, but passing over firstborn is the elderly. It's passing over us, the true seed of Abraham. And then, don't take my word for it, Google World Health Organization, WHO, they put out a paper a few months ago saying it's not affecting Black Africa, it's not affecting Haiti, it's not affecting African countries. But we was dropping like flies over here, which is a lie. They don't tell that lie anymore, do they? See, because they knew what that meant. They got the history. So immediately after, these things are happening. But if you see, read chapter 6, the sixth seal, see all these things happening, and the sixth seal is when everything kicks off. See? And so the first thing, right, is the war in the Middle East that triggers Armageddon. Armageddon is a European war. They're destroying themselves. That's why it said the dragon gave us 7 crowns to the beast, right? Because that means, in the process of destroying themselves, right, the beast they're talking about is China. And so it emerges as the world power because Europeans are destroying themselves. They're destroying their men, their equipment, right? Their troops, their equipment, and everything else. And now that means China arises as a superpower. That's what it's talking about, the transfer of authority. And then they finish the job. Because after the Europeans finished tearing themselves apart, right? Specifically America's getting ass taught because, like I said, see, well, I kind of got diverted there a little bit, but I was talking about the oil thing, right? What happens is that they can't get oil from the Middle East anymore. So the only place to get oil from is Russia or America. But America cannot furnish them oil fast enough, even if they could, because right now they're getting rid of their backup, because Biden's released, trying to get ready for the election, 1 billion barrels a day or something, 1 million barrels a day or whatever. So he's cutting into reserves. But even if they wasn't cutting reserves, they could not supply oil to Europe fast enough in the quantity necessary to keep the economy going, right? Because they have to ship by sea, they can't ship by air. And that takes a long time, and that's very risky, especially in a war scenario. And they're already fighting with America. They're already, soon as they get defeated in the Middle East, America and Britain, that would say Babylon fell, so they get defeated, and as far as Israel was left alone, right, isolated, and under siege, they immediately go to war with Russia. because they're gonna blame Russia for their defeat. Because people say, how you Iran and beat them? See, because it says Michael and his angels, Michael gonna be involved in that. Matter of fact, Muhammad's gonna be involved in that. See? But they can't tell American people that because they're the superpower. They're invincible. And they can't tell people there's more powerful than them running around there. So they're going to blame Russia because Russia allied with Iran. And so when they do that, that means they actually need to go to war with Russia. So they need to go to war. And then they're going to just plan this, because right now they're trying to provoke, they already provoked Russia, right? And so you got the NATO and everything else. They getting them all riled up against them. But that's not the war they talked about. That's not Armageddon. That falls in the category of wars and rumors of wars. So now, after that happens, now, it tells you, chapter 18, the Western Europe's economy collapses. Overnight, just collapses. Because they come from off in the Middle East. They can't get any off from Russia because they're supposed to be fighting with America. They're supposed to fight on America's side against Russia. So Russia's not going to give them fuel to fight back against them. So now the economy collapses overnight. Collapses overnight. That says chapter 18. So now the only choice they got is, because they can't even fight any long-term battles, maybe short-term, right? They can't even fight because they have no fuel to do it with. Because they cut off from the Middle East, she'll cut them off. So so the only access they have is Russia, and Russia got pipelines coming right in there because America's trying to stop them from. America's been openly trying to shut them pipelines down. That's another reason I'm gonna talk about in a minute. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But the thing is now they can get ready to supply oil from Russia, and that's what happened. They flip. They flip on America. They go on Russia's side. And so now America is isolated. All his friends are turning against you. All your lovers will turn against you. All your lovers will abandon you. So all America's allies, not just in Europe, all allies around the world is going to turn on them. All of them in Japan. In every region, the allies are going to turn on them. See? So America is going to be fighting everybody on the planet. Internally also. Because this diversity you're talking about, it's going to be a race war in America. Not just between blacks and whites, right? It's going to be a race war. Everybody's going to fall in the enclaves. The Indians over here, they're going to fall. Because I'm going into details what's going to happen. But Chinese, everybody's going to fall. Because it said anybody caught out of their country will be cut through. We're a race war in this country. Tearing this country apart. Sword within and sword without. We ain't talking about years from now. We talking about this year, brothers and sisters. We talking about this year. So I'm putting my credibility in line. I've been doing it for 30-some years. And now it's time. See? Because now I put a timeline out, right? Now I didn't put it out for my audio audience because there's a lot of graphics involved, right? See? But they go on YouTube, it's there. See? Timeline. Timeline to destruction. See? So therefore, like I said, they ally with Russia, so America's in a vice over there and over here. And everybody starts taking back what belongs to them. China's going to take back to Taiwan, India, and Pakistan, right? The African countries going to take back what was taken. Everybody's going to take back what's taken from them. And false Israel is about to be destroyed because they surrounded. We see Jerusalem surrounded by armies. How can you miss that one? How can you miss that one? Who controls Jerusalem? Jerusalem's capital of what? When you say Jerusalem surrounded by armies, that's this scenario I'm just telling you, right? Because this is going to happen while they're at war in Europe, because both things will happen simultaneously, right? But it says Jerusalem is going to become, it's going to take a while. It's not going to take a few days, because it's going to take long enough for the people to go cannibal. See? Because they ain't going to have no food come in, no food coming out, and they're going to start eating up each other. See? We talking about soon. Right? Look at my timeline. See, very soon, these events will happen. It's called apocalypse. See, because apocalypse encompasses all this. It encompasses tribulation, it encompasses Armageddon, and then the war after Armageddon, after war. The war of the latter days, they call it. See, because that's the war that happens after Europeans have torn themselves apart. And then the world closes in on Europe and finishes off. Starting with China. China first takes out Britain, and then it takes out America. It takes all this healthy people into slavery forever. And it burns this, takes everything of value, they think of a value, and they burn this place down to its crisp. They burn it down, they nuclear it. There's not going to be a nuclear war. There will not be a nuclear war. I repeat it. There will not be a nuclear war. But America will be destroyed with nuclear. He said, well, I thought there was a nuclear war. There won't be. See, Master Muhammad is already, he says, these UFOs you're talking about, you better go check on it. It's been published lately. The government has released it, and it says that almost all the nuclear sites are visited by these planes. And it says they disable, and when they leave, they find their nuclear sites disabled. Master Muhammad is not going to let there be a nuclear. They saying this. I'm not making. Say go Google it. Now why is it disabling their nuclear sites? Because when they go pull that trigger, they're gonna pull a blank. And America found they don't have any military power, and everybody's hating them. Right now, if everybody found out, if the whole world found out that America had no nuclear power, America will be gone by next week. Because everybody hates America. Everybody hates it. They know the hypocritical nation. You know there's nothing good about this place. They stole this country, wiped out its habits, destroyed us. And we good people. We God-fearing people. See? And now we had nothing to do with that, what our ancestors did. Well, then give the country back to the Native Americans. They're still around. And make us whole. Return us back to our land. See? Take your ass back to Europe. If you had nothing to do with it, you oh, that tree. I don't have nothing to do with that tree. But why are you eating the fruit of it? If you say your ancestors bad, they plant some bad trees, why are you eating the fruit? Why are you enjoying the fruit of it then? You should be tearing the fruit down. Why are you well loving on Jefferson and Washington when you know they was rapists and pedophiles? You're full of shit. See? So it says immediately after tribulation those days, them said chapter 2020 came in exactly on time. Exactly, just like it says. Immediately. That's the first of 10 plagues. The next 9 is Armageddon. Those 9 plagues are Armageddon. Those are the ones designed, it says, it's specifically designed to get the finally let them release us. And then we out of here. See? And that's doing the Armageddon. Europeans tear themselves apart. So first you got to warn Europe, that triggers it. I mean, in the Middle East, that triggers it. See, men's hearts failing for fear of those things coming upon the earth. So if they fear in anticipation, how do you think they're going to feel when it actually happens? And then false Israel is taken down. That's the abomination of desolation. That's part of the apocalypse again. The apocalypse covers all of that. Abomination of desolation. Because if they true to Abraham, they could not be taken out. But the scripture tells you that Jerusalem is going to be destroyed. So it's telling you right there, they're false. It tells you right there in Revelation that those who say Jews are not, they're synagogue of Satan. It says it right there. So they platform me because that, because they platform the Bible. Well, I'm just telling you what's in the Bible. You know. So when they go down, because you got everybody's claiming to be the true seed, be from Abraham. You got the false Israel, they claiming they got identity theft, they stole our identity. So why are they claiming? Then you got Arabs claim they have a legitimate claim, they ought to see Abraham, but not the inheritors. See, they're Ishmael. Isaac was inheritor, that's the one that God blessed. So they just living off our land, they stole our land. See, that's no story altogether. Then you got the Christians, the Europeans. We spiritually Abraham. So why is everybody claiming, and we only the true ones is the one down here in captivity. So they the spiritual seed. Everybody's claiming. See? But then, with false Israel, because the only reason false Israel was set up, to undermine the claim that Elijah Muhammad made, the legitimate claim that we the true Abraham. And the proof is 1619 to 2019, that exactly 400 years like it said, and it said Raphael would be a plague that would kill the firstborn. which is same as LA and Passover. And that's exactly what happened. They know what happened. It happened right on time. Immediately after those days, the oppression was the Holocaust. And the Holocaust was over in 2019. And immediately after came the plague. The first of 10 plagues. And all this other stuff in chapter, it said with and all these chapters, all the things you see in the sixth seal, all the things happened right after that. That's what it's talking about right there. That's where we are right now. If you look at timeline, I break it down. See, all that's part of the apocalypse. See, just scenarios. Because apocalypse has many scenarios. It has many phases. See, the Armageddon is just the second phase. The first phase is the war in the Middle East. There's a name for that war also. That's the one that triggers Armageddon. Then after Armageddon, the war of the latter days. See? And then there's a final war. See? That's when it says we home and we in peace. Right? With no barriers or anything around us. We at peace. And then the forces that be come attack. That's the final. That's the final war. So it's like 4 or 5 phases there. I think I mentioned 4 of them. That's the whole apocalypse. The angel covers all of those. See, angel that's why he's called apocalypse, right? See, so it was the war of Armageddon is just one phase of it. Apocalypse. That's what it is, brothers and sisters, apocalypse. You understand that? Because nearly all of it, except for just a few exceptions, starting back in chapter 20, right? So-called millennia. That's where it pretty much starts from. And then, at the time the book was written, that was future. But now it's past. See? And now God just covered the whole planet. Right? And it says at the end, how would they end? How would Gog and Magog end? It says they would accomplish the holy city, right? That's talking about in the Middle East, right? And they bring fire to heaven in the sight of men, right? Okay, well, if heaven is way beyond the sun, moon, and stars on another dimension, you metaphysicists, and some other dimension or something, how in the hell can they see fire coming from there? See, because that's the Middle East again. See, because the skies in the Middle East are dark with drones, American drones and maybe British drones also. They're firing hellfire missiles down in the sight of men upon the people. That's another one that's clear, brothers and sisters. But it says at that point they will come to their end. That'll be the beginning of their end. That's why I said there, right there, war with Russia, right, and Europe will begin right after they kicked out of the Middle East, America and Britain. So while they bogged down there, they also have a race war going here in America. Britain will be the first one to go. They're going to be the rage and the structure is going to be so bad there that the whole government's going to fail. It won't be managed. Police and everything will be all undone. It'll be just lawlessness. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. See? Because that's what the angel covers. 90% angel or 99% angel talks about, begins when that war begins. Michael's angels go to war with the dragon's angels, chapter 12. That's beginning apocalypse. See? But that tribulation they talk about there, right? That says immediately after those days, it says immediately after the tribulation or the oppression of those days, it's talking about us. And we say, chapter 20, it started the whole process. They actually started the apocalypse right there. Okay? Actually. See, but it comes in focus when a war takes place, which is not very clear, very soon. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. See? The Holocaust. See, stop calling it slavery. That's the whitewashed version. Slavery is not what they did to us. Took our names. You went in Kunta Kinte, clear out Toby, and you still walk around those that you think are names. And that was names. They was never meant to be names. You're 3/5 human. They represent ownership. So if your master was named Richardson and your name was James, you was named James Richardson, right? And if they trade you the master Bobhead, then your name became James Bobhead. So it was never a name, right? It was a brand. So he had a twin brother, and he got sold to, and his name was Jimmy. He got sold to a master Bob Bubblehead. So now his name is Jimmy Bubblehead. Now y'all both brothers, but y'all have different last names. And the names you walk around right now just represents the last master you was on slave plantation with. That's all it means. So you walk around with it, get your out your ass, bro, and says, you're going to be short-circuited, man. Your programs will be short-circuited. Matter of fact, I'm going to short-circuit your programming, then you're going to wake up immediately. And let me talk about this threshold effect, and then we're going to leave. So you understand, bro and sister, you know what a threshold is? It's like a inflection point. It's like water. I believe it's 212 degrees, right? It boils. It won't boil before that. It reaches a threshold effect where it turns into something else. It's like water. At what I think it's 32 degrees, right? It turns into ice. I may have those degrees wrong, but it's pretty close. It turns into ice. That's a threshold point. See? Heard a story about the straw that broke the camel's back. He kept putting all these straws. There may be billions of straw in there, but and the back got to the point where it couldn't take no more straw, and he put no straw and broke his back. That's a threshold point when something changed from something to another. Threshold point, inflection point. See? That's what happened to our people. Because before that, before 212 degrees, that water won't boil. You can look at it forever. If it's not 212 degrees, it's not going to boil. You can leave it on hot pot on the stove, but it has to get hot enough to get to 112 degrees, 212. Otherwise, that water's not going to boil. It has to be 212 degrees if that's the boiling point, right? Then it turns into steam. The water starts turning into steam. It turns into another form. See? You have to understand that. Okay? So, we're talking to our people. Now, people are not going to wake up by themselves. See, it's like water won't boil by, so they turn the heat under. So now we're putting this truth out there, because all they've been getting is lies. See, and so all they've been getting is the winter breeze, the winter hurricanes. That's all the bullshit they've been getting for the last 500 years. So their brains is frozen. Their brains is frozen. And now we got the spring thaw coming in, and now the sun, because the greatest enemy to ice is the sun. That's why Suleiman is represented as the sun in the AL-INJIL key. So he starts shedding light, the summer, spring, summer come. So now it's trying to thaw you out. See, you have the spring thaw. Once spring thaw is over, you thaw it out. See? So you got a couple of flexion points there. You got the points where they froze you. It took 64 years to froze you, to reach the point to freeze you, to turn you into a Negro butt. Took 64 years, 1555, 1619. Inflection point, you knew you were something else. You wasn't what you was before. But it took 64 years to reach that threshold, that changing threshold, that inflection point. See, and you've been like that for almost 400 years. Elijah Muhammad came and warmed some of you up. See, because he like the sun. He reflected the light of the God, and that was enough to warm some of you up. Because now, remember, you had to be a certain degrees to be. You had to be a certain temperature had to be low enough for you to be a robot, Negro butt. So he warmed you up a little bit, just above that, the flexion point. It's like, for instance, if you got water sitting there at 212, 211 degrees, it's just really hot. It's not boiling. And all you got to do is just bring a little more heat, and right? See, or like ice. Ice is 32 degrees, it's cool. But you lower it down to, you raise up to 33 degrees, it's going to start melting. So Elijah Muhammad raised degrees, right? He raised up a little bit, and he was throwing out a lot of people. Then Farrakhan went and turned the heat down, and so they froze again, because they was in that critical point. See, when you at 211 degrees or 213 degrees, you had that critical point where 1 degree will change the whole thing what you're dealing with. Just 1 degree. Only takes 1 degree to do it. It don't take a lot of effort. It takes 1 degree to do it. So if you're at 211 degrees, only take 1 degree of heat, and all of a sudden you steam. See? Or if you're at 213, just 1 degree lower and your steam changed the water. Or if you're at 33 degrees, right, and you lower one, then all of a sudden the water was water, then it turns to ice. The same thing with diamonds. A diamond, it stays underground for thousands, some say millions of years. But if you was a witch's transformation, it have all that pressure, and then it turns from a coal to diamond just like that instantly. See, because it took that long to build enough pressure to hit that inflection point, that threshold. And that's the same thing in our people, because now the sun is out, right? It's heating it up. It's heating to a temperature where they're going to change in a moment. That would say they change in a twinkle of an eye. So suddenly, see, be sudden, overnight, the resurrection. So will a nation be born in a day? Whoever heard such a thing? They might that's false Israel. No, talking about us in a day. So brothers and sisters, when you out here talking, don't fret. Don't fret. See? Don't slack up. Don't fret. Don't get anxious. Don't get upset, because you're at that threshold point, and you keep on. If you stop, it's like you take and you got the water heat up to 211, right? And at that point, just a couple more seconds would heat up. But if you turn up, if you turn heat down, it just stay right there 211. Just stay there. All you need is 1 degree, but it's not going to boil. You won't see it boiling. Just 1 degree you need. And that's where the deflection point out people. See? So you keep on spreading the sunlight, and suddenly, when a nation be born in a day, that's threshold point. And that happens in your relationships too. See, because sometimes, brothers and sisters, I mean, we ain't gonna be doing that in hereafter, because we're gonna be close to each other. We're gonna be so close to each other. I mean, every sister's gonna be your sister. I mean, you're gonna be just close to your blood sister, maybe even closer. See, and every brother be close. That's the way it be. We're so close because we one body anyway. We just one body. We just don't recognize it, but you're gonna recognize it soon. See, but here. We have to walk a tightrope. That's why we study the 5 fundamental principles of Islam, right? Because those gives you the power to become the God. Because we need to know the fundamental principle of the universe. Just like a car, you need to know how to, before you can drive the car, you know how to operate it. And the 5 fundamental principles of mathematics of the universe tells you how the universe works. So when you start applying it to yourself, then you start the creative process. Because first you have to get yourself wired up. And once you get that, then you can use that knowledge to take and manipulate the universe, start creating time. Because that's why I tell you, time, we create time. Time is not something, it's not your watch. Your watch stop beating, right? Or start whatever, that means the time stop. No. If the universe is not moving, there's no time. You have to transfer, the universe has to transfer from one form of energy to another form. You can't create energy, you can't destroy it. So you just transfer from one. That's time, that's creating time. And Master Muhammad right now, he's creating time very fast, because he's taking this energy of this world and transforming it to the energy of his world. And Suleiman is here, right, to keep you, he's a pacemaker to get you, right, to keep up with the God. To give you the direction. He's like a pointer, a vector, right? Showing you where the God is, and where his pace is. You can keep up. Because if you don't keep up, you lost in time. You lost time, you're dead. The graveyard is full of people that got lost in time. They couldn't keep up with the time. So they're in the past. Everybody in the past is dead. See, the past no longer exists. Because what? We took the energy from the past and we made this the future and this is the future they made for themselves, the Europeans, but now their time is up. The pressure is closing on them. You see, all whole place is crumbling, and they'll be going because, like I said, the spring sun, right? It's a thaw. It's thawing out the winter. They're the winter people. We had 6,000 years of winter. See, there's a 24,000 year cycle, 25,000 year cycle for the universe, for Earth to complete flip on, turn on its axis. See, that's 6 times 4 is 24. So it's 4 seasons. That's why they had 6,000 years to rule, because they ruled the winter season, was the worst winter we ever had, we ever will have. They're the winter people. And we was frozen in that time, that period of time. Some was froze to death. See? And so therefore, when the spring thaw comes, Master Muhammad was the one that came and signaled that's time for the spring thaw. So when spring thaw comes, right, it starts thawing our people out. See? But what happens as it thaws out, it's just melting them. It's evaporating them. That's what's happening right now. But they don't want to be evaporated intelligent. They're intelligent people. So what they're going to try to do is try to keep it cold. See? And they're going to hold on to you to keep them thawing out. And you stupid enough to hold on to them, so therefore you ain't being thrown out because you go out here and you want to hang on with them, hang over there, skanks. You run over all these black women to be with them. Well, we know the demons going to be with them anyway because they're their own people. See, but so some of you're so stupid that you're going to go, so you ain't going to be thrown out in time, right? So you're going to go down with them. Spring thaw, brothers and sisters. So you learn the 4 or 5 fundamental principles of Islam. Those are the I explained to you. They never explain to you that way because they don't know them in the mathematical way. They're the 5 fundamental principles of how the universe works. Once you incorporate in yourself, then you become a God because then you can extend that knowledge to the universe. And you start creating time. See, because in the bottom line is, you make to the hereafter because if you can't escape, if your mind, because remember, the thought is pressure. See, and this reality we live in right now is the pressure waves from the minds of the devils. See, so now their pressure waves against our pressure waves. It's a war between the two. See, so this came out of their minds. See, so we're taking that, we're gonna take it and bring it into a new reality. But if your mind, if your greater pressure destroys weaker pressure. So if your mind is not strong enough to overcome the pressure of their minds, the pressure waves of their minds, your pressure waves not, then you're gonna be lost. That's called the gravitational vortex. You're gonna be lost. They're gonna take you down with them. We don't want you. We don't want the demons. We don't want you because you ain't strong enough to make it to the hereafter. You ain't strong because you have to. Only way you can make it, you have to create your own universe. You have to create your own reality. See? We now create your, that's why Muhammad is laying the foundation so you can create your own reality. First, you got to make it there. You got to be strong to make it there. Once you get there, right, then you have to make, because you create your own reality right now. The reality you're in right now, you create yourself. You might not like that, and you might have created like yourself because you was a Negro butt and used the information they gave you, but you still created. You still create your own reality. See? See? Because only thing they do is give you bad information. And you've been programmed not to go and check the information out because your brain is logical. But if someone controls the information that comes in, they can determine what your decision is going to be. And so far, they limit your information to a bunch of lies, Christianity, all this stuff. So therefore, so we ain't mad at you. You're making bad decisions because you got bad information, and they control your information. But now the truth is coming out and destroying that bullshit. And the thing is, you have to start asking questions. You have to start deprogramming yourself. You can wait till Master Muhammad does it. He's gonna pull a switch on and short circuit your program. But you can start deprogramming yourself right now just to ask questions. Because you've been programmed not to ask questions. Ask questions about this stuff. Ask them to prove what they're telling you. Then you start deprogramming yourself because your eyes come wake and say, hold it. Because you find they can't prove a damn thing they're telling you. They can't prove any of it. It's all lies designed to keep you a Negro butt. With all these preachers, T.J. Jakes and all them, they're all terror butts. What is that? That means they're master's children. House Negroes. They're demons. Black-faced devils. Look like us. What? They're the chaff that was sown amongst the wheat. And their agenda is the same as their dad's agenda. See? But we worry about them because they're going to go down that part of apocalypse. They're part of apocalypse. Because our first, okay, let me say this, I'm going to close out, brothers and sisters. See, right now, the apocalypse is about the purpose of destroying us. That's what's open warfare. They've been spending 400 years trying to destroy us, but now it's open warfare, right? But our first enemy, when we have to take our first, the demons, because I separate them out from us, because they didn't want to keep us divided. They want to terrorize us. They're the ones all these gangs and all this stuff, killing and stealing stuff. That's them. That's master's children. Those are demons, terror butts. There's a whole idea to keep terror going in our community. See, the devils initiated it, but now they use the demons to keep it going. Terror butts terrorize the black community. So now we hate ourselves, scared to walk the street, scared to do anything. That's what their job is to do. Terror butts. See? So first thing it says, that's what it says Suleiman or Jesus, the first thing he had to do is go to war with them. Read Mark, he had to go to war with them, get them out the way. Then we come together as one nation. Will a nation be born in a day? But it's the demons, these terror bots, that's impeding the process. They're like a checkerboard, right? You got black and white squares, black and white square. Between every black ones, you got the white ones. They're keeping the black ones separated. And it says half of the blacks in America are demons. Terror butts. You see them all over the place. They're successful in society because society was built by their daddies for them, for dads. But they enjoy it because they just like they say in nature their daddies. They live in master's house. They live in daddy's house. But dad don't want them either. That's part of the way he's gonna get rid of them. But they're gonna end up fighting with each other. That's what it says. They say, oh, please don't make us lead a country. That's Farrakhan, the Legion. Lewis Eugene Grouse, NOI backwards. That's him. Please don't make us lead a country. My name is Legion. See, Suleiman out him, made him out himself. So we are many. That's all the demons all around him. Please don't make us lead a country. Start begging once Suleiman has his feet dead up his ass. Oh, please don't make me lead a country. So he wanted to go over the swine, and they got to fight and went off the cliff together. See? That's the war they're going to have. But us, first, that's the first war with them. See? Then after we get them out of the way, we get the hell out of here. Now we got to take our land back. Arabia. That story Exodus says Joshua, he had to go and take his land back because they already been defeated. Hassad and their leaders are gone. But the people ain't going to give up the land. The Sunni ain't going to give up their land over there. So we got to take it back. See? But meanwhile, our proxies, which is China and India, because it says in chapter 17, it says what? It says, these 10 kings, that's China and India talking about, that's the leopard in Daniel, yellow with brown spots. It says, they will hate the harlot. It says, God put in their heart to do it. Master Prophet Muhammad put in their heart to do it, right? Put in their hearts to do it, right? To go and take out the harlot, America. So they're going to invade America. That's the goat coming across the sea, coming from the west, feet not touching land, means coming across the Pacific Ocean. And it tears, it destroys them. So he said, well, how does that work? See? He said, God put in hearts to do it. Well, again, all this stuff, there's no spooky stuff here, brothers and sisters. Remember the oil problem? Where do you think India and China get their oil from? They get from Russia and they get from the Middle East. But remember, they're at war in Russia. They're at war in Europe. They're at war in Europe. See? So now Russia cannot or will not supply them with oil anymore. So who has control of oil now in the Middle East? So now China and India, you want oil because they totally dependent, right? You want oil, you got to go ahead and do what we tell you to do. You got to go and invade America. Brothers and sisters, hope you understand. Hope you understand. I'm going to leave it there, brothers and sisters, right? I'm putting this all together for you. See? But it says, come out of her, my people. Come out of her, my people. He's telling you, get the hell out of here. Pharaoh said, you ain't going nowhere. Why? Please don't make me need a country. Remember Legion said that? He said, you ain't going nowhere. Because he called Master Prophet Muhammad a liar. He called Elijah Muhammad a liar. He claims that he's following them. He's a liar. He's a demon. He follows the devil. Google it. See, go and search. Farrakhan says his father may be a Jew. Go Google that. He got a whole interview on there where he's saying that his father's father, remember, I mean, come on, bro. It says there's 2 + 3 = 5. He says his father, right? Probably Jamaican, right? Straight here. He says his father's parents are Portuguese, Caucasian Jews. That's what he says. He said it right in the article. Go and look at it, Google it. It says, I can send you the link, right? But now his father's parents, unless he was adopted, are Caucasian, Portuguese Jews. That means his father is, don't it? I mean, does 2 plus 3 equal 5, or does it equal 23? That makes his father a devil. That makes him a devil, a demon. Now, he going to tell me that a demon is our Messiah? That we should be saying, all praise to Daku, right? Stop the bullshit. Well, just let me stop the bullshit, boy. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to close out, brothers and sisters. So now you know what apocalypse is? See? It says the tribulation. See? Tribulation is that period that, I didn't mention that, I make it clear. Tribulation is a period once we get out of here. It says Michael delivered all those who? In the Lamb's book. See? He's a conductor. But he only going to take those who in the Lamb's book, and Lamb was the only one day to break the seals. So you better break that one down, because no one could break those seals, not even God. No one in heavens or earth can break it but him. And he's the only one that can certify you to get out of here, because if you're in his book, Master Muhammad, Michael's not, if Master Muhammad's not Michael, that means we got 2 deliverers, don't it? So he don't take you out unless you're in the Lamb's book of life. So he got to certify you. So listen to all these clowns. Does Farrakhan have this? Does he have the book of life? Does he break the 7 seals? Only one claiming as myself, and show me someone else has done it. So Master Muhammad is the conductor. But you got to have a ticket to get on a train from a ticket master. And it says Michael delivered all those delivered all those that was in the Lamb's book, but then those that slept in the dust, they finally woke up. They weren't delivered. They had to go to a tribulation. And that's a whole nother, that's a year tribulation that's horrible. Another more horror. So Holocaust didn't end for them. That's the second tribulation they talk about. The first tribulation, right, represents the 400 years of terror that they took us through the Holocaust. So you can go the scenic route or you can go to first class. That's up to you. That's up to you. You want to go to scenic route, but, and if you out here, one of those people is ripping off our people, talking about you, Elijah Muhammad, I got messed black man, all this bullshit, right? Scenic route won't help you, because you're going for nothing. Because you're going to go through it and then you're just going to be destroyed at the end of it. Because we don't want you. Because you're either a demon or a devil or whatever. You're a pipe viper. And all our people that got lost, and said my people were lost for lack of knowledge because of you. So demons and vipers, what they said, casa non grata, whatever I forgot they said. Oh, well, you ain't welcome. Right? You don't want to come anywhere near us. You might as well just blow your brains out. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Hold on here. I think I covered everything. So apocalypse. Apocalypse. See, that's what 99% of what the angel's all about. Revelation, apocalypse. And we in it now. See? Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Okay, let me close out with my audio audience. See what's here. Okay. Black Alert segment. The fire zone. Black Alert out. And for my video audience, thank you for listening. Assalamu alaikum.